Investigational new drug application. An investigational new drug application is submission towards to the Food and Drug Administration requesting permission to the initiate clinical study of the new drug product. After approval to the investigation new drug application, it allows the company to initiate the clinical studies for their new drug products. This investigational new drug application provides the Food and Drug Administration form with the data which is necessary to decide the new drug, and these clinical trials are maintained to the reasonable risk to human subjects. The FDA reviews the IND application and decides whether it is safe for the company to progress the next stage, that is clinical trials. Almost 85% of the drugs are subjected to the clinical trials for which IND applications are filed. A firm or an institution is called as sponsor, which is responsible for the submitting the IND applications. An investigator is an individual actual conducts an individual who is actually conducts a clinical investigation that is under the intermediate direction of the drug which is administered to a subject. In the event, the investigation is conducted by the team of individuals who is responsible for the leader of the team. Sub investigator includes any other individual member of the team. And an IND is not an application for marketing approval. It is a avenue through which sponsor gets from the food, FDA, and federal law that prohibits the unapproved drug from the being transported boats and allows the shipment of the approved drugs. To obtain the exemption, the sponsor must submit the sufficient data through the IND, which is safety of the drug for use in the human testing. Since in this hundreds of millions of dollars and many years to undertake the clinical trials which is necessary to bring the new drug to market, this investigational new drug application signifies the sponsor who is willing to make the huge investment. And IND is required to file any time when you want to conduct a clinical trial for unapproved drug. As we know that IND would be required to conduct a clinical trial if the drug is new chemical entity and being administered at the new dosage level and in combination with the another drug and combination is not approved. All clinical studies are performed by the new drug which is administered to human subjects, whether the drug will be commercially developed, which is required by the IND. These IND studies involved approved drugs, that is BA or BE studies, and these studies focused on the basic research of the drug. In this, IND requirements are most often depend upon the commercial intent of the study. Clinical studies are exempt from the IND requirements. They are include certain research with the market drugs, certain research with the marketed approved drugs. These studies are exempted from the IND regulations, which means the drug must be lawfully marketed in US. This study cannot be intended for the support of new indication. The study cannot signify any increased risk of the taking by the drug. Bioavailability studies. These bioavailability studies or bioequivalence studies are compared to the unapproved drugs. It doesn't require the IND if it involves a new chemical entity. It followed the approved drug label. After that, the product for the doses will be reference for the investigational drug. Dietary supplements and food are not considered as a drugs. Unlike drug trials, clinical investigations involving in the dietary supplements, it required the IND investigated effects on the body function. For example, studying the effect of fiber on bowel regulatory would not require the IND, but investigating the ability of fiber to treat the chronic diarrhea would require the IND. Cold isotopes or radioactive isotopes. These are can be exempted by the IND. For IND for radioactive isotopes, these radioactive drug research committee would be approved for the processing of the radioactive isotopes. It is not intended for the human subjects, but it is intended for the in vivo testing. When any approved drug and study of approved indications are processed, it can be masked. Categories of the IND. In these categories, two types of categories are there in the IND application form: commercial IND, non-commercial IND. Commercial IND goal of this IND is to obtain the marketing approval for the new drug. In non-commercial IND, there are three types are there. They are investigator IND, emergency IND, treatment IND. In investigator IND, the physician is a sponsor and investigator for the immediate direction for the investigational drug. A sponsor investigator might submit a research for the approved drug.